Since the early 1900s, the music industry has been dominated by major labels. There was a period in the 1950s where independent labels sort of overtook major labels for a little bit because they figured out some new scams. But labels, the story's been music labels. This company, Indepreneur, started in 2017 with a simple goal. Let's make the independent artist market share bigger than the label market share of the music industry. And since we began, the indie artist market share has been rising. In today's video, I'd like to explain to you how you, yes you, will take over the music industry. Let's get into it. So first off, let's state the base case. My base case is that record labels, major record labels, indie labels are going to zero. They're going to all fail because their business model is fundamentally flawed, and we've talked a lot about that on this channel. I'll refer to some videos up here. They'll be on screen. So if you want to learn more about that, click those videos and go over it there, because that's not what we're going to talk about here. First, I'd like to just prove the base case. So we're gonna pull some stats here. In 2017, 87% of Spotify's total streams were from big labels and Merlin. Merlin Music Network is like a digital licensing aggregator, so some of the Merlin streaming is independent artists and some of it is label artists, and we're not gonna go over that here, but just file that away, right? In 2017, 87% of Spotify streams came from big labels and Merlin. In 2018, it dropped to 85%. In 2019, it dropped to 82%. In 2020, it dropped to 78%. In 2021, 77%. And in 2022, it was 75%. A full 12 percentage points down from 2017 when we started. Not bad. The independent artists market share increased from 29.7 to 31.1% in 2020. In 2018, the percentage of the entire music industry that was due to independent artists was about 28%. By 2020, that had increased to almost 30%, and it continues to increase today. So just looking at the streaming numbers, we can see that independent artists' market share is growing at a faster rate than major labels. But these types of changes happen all the time, so why would I be so confident, given this 5 years of data, that indie artists are going to succeed in overtaking major label market share, and major labels will start to fall to the wayside? Major labels had two things going for them. Number one, the means of production was centralized, meaning that if you wanted to put out a record and you didn't have the help of a major label, you were at a significant disadvantage. First of all, everything was distributed in physical format, CDs, and if you print 100 CDs, it's gonna cost you a lot more per CD than if you print 100,000. So already major labels have economies of scale going for them in that equation. Then you have to get the CDs in stores. You need a distribution network, which were almost entirely controlled by major labels.
We have to move our product in bulk, wholesale. Now, how do we do that?
What do you mean, to like a distributor?
Yes, that's what we need.
So not only producing your product, but getting it out to places where people could buy it was incredibly difficult if you weren't a major label. And major labels, one of the major draws for them is that they were willing to foot the bill for that distribution. It costs a lot to print all this product, to get it out to stores, and they're willing to take on that risk. On top of that, you had the means of promotion being incredibly centralized, just like the means of production. So the main way to promote an artist back then was through television outlets like, MTV and Total Request Live.
And Korn took over as your new #1 request of the day.
VH1, BET, and, major radio networks. These were the main ways to get a song to become incredibly popular, was to just act like it already was popular using these promotion outlets.
She doesn't even go here.
And because the major labels had these outlets in their pocket, it was very difficult to access them if you weren't with a major label. It was very, very unlikely that you were going to succeed as an independent artist. We didn't have these outlets where you could promote. The internet wasn't really that big a thing. Just getting out to all those people was incredibly difficult. But in 2000, both of those things collapsed. We now got all of our music over the internet, and it was infinitely scalable and infinitely reproducible, and there was just no real argument to use CDs that much anymore, except for the fact that all of our music players were CD players. That quickly changed, right? Almost no music players these days are CD players. And then the means of promotion also went online. We got social networks, MySpace, and then Facebook.
I am not a lizard.
No way.
These were broadly accessible to anyone with a pulse. They are free, and to be successful at them requires you to only have the merit of producing content that people want to consume. But you had to have a computer, you had to have a video camera if you wanted to make this high quality content and get it out there and edit it and all that stuff. Cut to today's era. We can do all of that on this, which everyone has one of. And it is a full production studio for the types of content you would use for promotion, and the means of promotion are all heavily decentralized, and major labels do not control it. They don't control your TikToks and your Instagrams and your YouTubes. And that has put major labels in a precarious position of not owning either the means of production or the means of promotion. So their edge, their stranglehold on the marketplace has eroded.
They have to do all this extra work. It's a choice they make because fighting erosion can be an uphill battle.
All of the means of promotion are now decentralized, and that's caused a major problem for major labels because the next biggest artist in the world could be just some random, person on TikTok who makes a cool piece of content or three, and all of a sudden their song's more popular than whoever major labels are funneling the most money into right now. So major labels have responded to this by trying to just lock up every single person who gets a little bit of success on TikTok. They just sign them immediately, hoping they're still naive enough to sign some draconian contract.
You want us to sign this?
Just a formality, really. Yeah.
Who are they?
Magical time-traveling elves.
But here's where they're screwing up. They're not only telling their existing artists that before we're willing to put any money or effort into your latest record, you have to go viral on TikTok. They're not only going to look for anyone who has a 15 minutes of fame on TikTok, sign them and give them an advance, but they're also telling Pink to do, a viral piece of content on TikTok. Major calculation error for major label A&Rs and promotion teams. Because you don't have to go viral on TikTok to release a record if you're already famous. Duh. Furthermore, if you already went viral on TikTok, you don't need to do it again to release another record. You should just start putting out more records. But major labels kind of screw that up. So now they're kind of demanding that all of their artists, before they get permission to release their latest single, have to get a viral clip on TikTok. Dumb idea. As a result, all of these major label artists are getting frustrated with their labels, which is going to lead to major label artists leaving their labels, which is going to lead to more independent artists. And TikTokers who are getting their 15 minutes of fame, signing a major deal, and then figuring out, oh wait, this really sucks. They're becoming the case studies for other TikTokers to not do that. Major labels have a game of numbers that they play. The game is sign as many artists as is feasible. So they create this sort of barrier of once they get X popular, we gotta sign them. We don't have a choice. We have to start calling them aggressively and telling them a bunch of bullshit. And I've seen artists who this has happened to. You'd be surprised how one outreach from a major label means 5 more. They're all gonna reach out. It's like they all have the same alarm in the office. Look, we don't know who's gonna be famous. We don't know who's going to succeed. So we're just going to sign all of them above a certain benchmark and then put no effort into them because we don't have infinite resources. So we'll sign all of them. Now they're locked in. And then if anyone gets above the next benchmark, we'll start putting money and effort behind them. And that effort's usually misguided. The money's usually misguided. They usually end up just racking up an exorbitant bill that artist has to now recoup by doing unproductive marketing, stuff that doesn't really move the needle. They're playing a game of numbers, a game of odds. And the problem with that is that no metric, no benchmark could have told you about Mr. Beast before he happened. Because the independent artists who are achieving fame that major labels are dreaming of right now, they are getting the benefits, the downstream benefits of a decentralized means of promotion and means of content creation. They can make content now, and as soon as they activate, as soon as they decide that that's what they're going to do, that is the only time at which they're going to become the obvious win, after they've already won. So major labels are not going to front run the outsized returns of an independent artist any longer. They will piss off a lot more artists than they otherwise needed to because they're playing a numbers game. So they're going to treat all of these thousands of artists they end up signing the exact same way, and that's going to expose what it's like to be signed to a major label to far more artists than it ever has. Regular people who do not have a handler behind them to tell them it's all good, baby. You're gonna have teenage kids and their moms walk into major record labels and sign a deal, and within a year be incredibly disenchanted with that. They're going to have the means to get revenue through other sources. This wasn't their only thing, right? They're already TikTok famous. And because major labels are not willing to take the gamble, they're not willing to pick a stock, they just buy the whole stock index. That's, I think, why they're gonna fail. Because as independent artists, we have one stock. We have us. We're willing to put all the effort in the world behind us because it's our one stock. We need to make it work. Major labels don't have to, and that's not a benefit. That's actually a downside. That's potentially a major attack vector for the major label hegemony. It's the reason why it will crumble. We only have this one stock, and we have everything that we could possibly need to make it perform. And we're willing to put in the time and the money and the heartache to make it work. Major labels aren't even willing to put in $1 or ounce of sweat one to make a given artist work. They don't work like that. So I think what we're witnessing right now, this era that we're in, is the death knell, the dying gasp of the major label hegemony era. I think it's pretty much a wrap, dude. It may not seem like it right now, but give it about 2 to 3 years. Let all of these highly unprofitable investments that labels are making into artist catalogs go bust. Let them lose them money hand over fist. Let this current generation of rising social media stars learn what it's like to be signed to a major label. Let that info spread amongst all the other TikTok influencers. Let this scam be brought out into the sunlight. And I think you're going to see less artists willing to sign with a major label.
Bye, Jerry. I'm out.
More independent artists succeeding without a major label, and more major label artists leaving their label to go fully independent. I think that's what the next 5 years looks like. It happens slowly at first, a couple of percentage points over the last 5 years, and then whoosh, all at once, because the major labels don't control the means of distribution and production anymore, and they don't control the means of promotion anymore, and they're scrambling to figure out how to get their little slice of cheese back. I think they're gonna screw it up. So hopefully if you're an indie artist out there and you're wondering about sort of how do you make it, hopefully this gives you some confidence that all manner of independent artists are making it now without major labels. And it's because they have everything they need to make it right in their pocket. And so do you. Just stay independent. Learn marketing, learn promotion, learn to do it yourself. Don't sign with a major label because they don't actually believe in you. They're just playing a numbers game that they're eventually gonna lose. If you'd like help learning the marketing side of things, you can check out all of our other free content on this channel and on our website, on our blog. And you can check out our over 200 episodes of weekly podcasts where we do a deep dive on a different music marketing concept every single week. And if you want to take it a step further, you can join our Indie Pro membership, and you can take our 19 plus training courses and in-person workshops and use our resources to market yourself. And if you like this video and you'd like to see more of them, like and subscribe, because I'll be back next week with another video, and I'll see you then.